Hi YouTube, we are doing an updated kitchen tour. We have had a few requests to do another one. It's been a while since our old one. We also had a request not that long ago to do one during the daylight time, since our lighting is poor in the evening to get a video recorded. So we decided that it was time to do one. You'll notice since our original tour that many things have changed. We've done some rearranging and added some new pieces and have gotten rid of some other ones. That piece back there, that step back, is our newest piece. Ron made the bottom part. We originally made it as a center island where the butcher block is at. And after having it there for a couple months, it was just too big. We felt enclosed, so we did a little rearranging. So we moved it over by the sink, and he made a top for it, and we put our career knives dishes on there. Right now it's all except the top is raw wood. He did put when we had it as a center island, he went ahead and finished the top because I was going to be working on that area. But not sure how we're going to finish it, if we're going to paint it or stain it. There's our ladder. We got this ladder from out of a neighbor's yard years ago. It was just, it sat out there for season after season, and we asked if we could have it, and they said, sure, get it out of here. So we took it, and it's been either holding baskets, or at one time we had a bunch of hanging plants, you know, like the spider plants or the ivy, and that was real pretty. That was in a different house where we had better lighting. It was sat in front of a big picture window instead of over our table. But so when we moved here, we put baskets on it instead. And right now it's holding a new lamp. It was actually Ron got it to use in the barn, but it went really well there, so I don't know if he'll get to keep it or if I'm going to have him leave it here. He likes it there too. Let's see. For those of you that haven't seen our original kitchen video, and I'm sorry, I'm taking for granted that anyone watching this has seen the original one, but that might not be true, so I guess I need to state concerning the stove, this is our only source of cooking. It is the source of heat for 2/3 of our house. We run it year-round. We live in the northern climate. I can on it during the summer. Wouldn't want to can on anything else. Absolutely love the surface. It is a, try to get back. This camera is really bad about zooming out. You can't zoom out very well on it, so I apologize for the way we're walking around here and having to step back, but it is a margin gem. We've had it since 2007, and I love the stove. We've experienced some problems with it over the past couple of years, some flaws in the manufacturing of it. I'm not sure if this was the replacement, or this was the substitute of a Heartland Oval, and those are very expensive stoves. So when we found this, we had kept our eye on it and eventually decided to go with this because it was a fraction of the price of the Heartland stove. It has a lot of good qualities, but if I had it to do over again, I'm not sure that I would go this route. We might save and get the Heartland. There was things that happened, like with the reservoir. We do not use it anymore. It has the way it's made, it creates the steam issue on the inside of the stove near the fire or near the oven, and a high rust area right there. So we just figured until we have time to mess with it, we quit using it. And the firebox, the firebox portion, the rack that holds the wood, it deteriorates very quickly. It's not any different. We don't run it any different than any other stove we've ever had, and it just seems to want to warp, and we believe it's because it was that portion of the stove is made out of recycled metal. So I guess those are our two biggest complaints. But other than that, it's a beautiful stove, and it does work like a horse. I mean, there's no doubt we put this thing through a lot of work. So I guess I won't talk it down too much. I've had people, get a hold of us who've seen our original video and they're looking for a stove. And at that time, we weren't having any problems. Like I said, a couple of years ago, but over the last couple of years, those seem to be the two problems. So I guess I wanted to put that out there as just a piece of information if anyone's looking at these stoves. If you're not going to use it steadily year round, then yeah, it's definitely worth the money. But if you're going to use it all the time and use, you know, if you are totally like the manufacturing area of your home for food, from daily eating to preserving, and you have this type of money to put into a stove, you might want to, you know, save and get the Heartland Oval. Those two canners, or waters, I use them as canners too, but those typically sit on our stove top during the day, a little hot water, so I can wash my dishes. When I'm cooking, I move them off to the side a little bit. One will straddle over the reservoir, and the other will sit about where that teapot's at. The butcher block. This was a gift to my husband from our sons. So that's pretty special. I really don't. It's a 300-pound butcher block. It doesn't get moved often. I don't know much more of the history, except they've been making this style of butcher block. I believe it's in Michigan for a number of years, hard rock maple. This step back right here was the first cabinet Ron ever made for us, and it's one of my favorite pieces. It's a smaller version, a little bit different tweaks on it than the last one he's made. Alright, there, that butcher block there, that's a solid piece of wood. This one right here is a bunch of pieces put together with rods that go through them. This one here is a solid piece. That was also a gift to him from our sons. I think he got that one first. There's our Hoosier. That Hoosier replaced a Sellers that I know was in the original video. We had a Sellers cabinet. This one looked a little more primitive, which tickled my husband's fancy more because he really likes the primitive look. So we got that and sold the Sellers. The baker's table that has the possum bellies on it. I use these areas for rolling out doughs, different things, cooling stuff. So it's my work area. Another copper kettle. Over here in this china cupboard is Fiesta ware. And this is neat. We like the story behind this because it has pieces from my husband's great-grandmother, his grandmother, and his mother. And his grandmother inherited it from her mother, and then his mother inherited it from his grandmother, and then we inherited it from his mom. And so someday we'll pass it on to our children. Now the ice box is my favorite story to tell. It's the first piece Ron ever redid. We found it during a blizzard in a backyard of a family member. It was covered almost all the way with snow. The only piece I saw was the back side, and I recognized the back because it was tongue and groove, and I knew instantly what it was. Now, the family member, they were up there in years, and they had used this in their home until they got an electric ice box, and they moved it out to their garage and used it as a paint storage cupboard, and they used it to test different colors of paint, so it had paint all over it. And then they had someone move it out to their yard because they needed the room in their garage. Their house was from the 30s, and so the garage was real narrow, and they didn't have room to spare. So we took it home, and he refinished it, and he did a beautiful job. Down here, I don't know if we can zoom in there enough. Down there's the original label, Frost King. He was able to keep that there when he was cleaning it, so that was kind of neat. We do use it. It's our ice box. We have no refrigerator. We do have a freezer outside in the garage, and we put 2-liter bottles. This holds 12, and we have to change them every 2 days. I wanted to show you. The ice box itself is porcelain. This particular area where the ice is at is galvanized, but the rest of it, I mean, was in beautiful shape through all the years. You can see this is a small area down there. Do not waste any food in this. There is not enough room to waste food in it. You put something in there, you make sure it gets ate because you ain't got room for anything else until that's gone. This is an old, one of my first baker's table, or was my first baker's table. No, it's just came with one possum belly. And just a neat old piece. So, I guess the only thing I've not covered has been my table that my talented husband and children made for me for Mother's Day several years ago. It's 8 foot long and 4 foot wide. And when we have a gathering, we have no problem getting the whole gathering around it. Just try to get... Oops, I'm sorry about the dishes in the sink, but my motto is, we live here. So the place is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is home. This is our mudroom. It's, we walk in here from chores and everything, so it's obviously got mud around, but what I really wanted to show you here was this cupboard. I can't get far enough back to get the whole cupboard in. Was our coat cupboard, or is our coat cupboard. My husband made it from an old set of doors and some recycled lumber. There might be a couple new pieces like around the top there, but most of it was recycled. Our leaded windows that we got for a really good deal to help. I didn't really want to put any curtains out there because we don't have many windows, but it kind of just helps divert what goes on outside, you know, traffic going by. It grabs the sunlight really nice when the sun is rising through the beveled glass. Angle I didn't get was right here. Old step back that we saw and fell in love with. Here's a picture here I wanted to, as long as I was here. My husband's grandmother painted that. That was actually a cabin, a hunting cabin that his grandfather would go to. And it was, if you watch the living room video, we talk about how we decorate our house. We decorate it with either family heirlooms or things we find at garage sales, or things we find in the backyard, unwanted items we find in people's yards or basements. We have done some antiquing. Obviously we like antiques, and we have purchased some antiques, but for the most part we really try to connect to things that have a family history behind them. I don't have a rich family history, and my husband does, and I want that to be passed on to our children as well as he does. So little things like this count, and little things like this add to the uniqueness of the item. This picture here is a very common picture found. I'm guessing here, but I think it's from the 30s. In that area there was a lot of prints going around, but on the back of it there's a note that it was given to his grandfather by his grandfather's sister as a gift. And we also were able to inherit that when his grandfather passed on, so that means a lot. This picture, and I have to be at this angle because there's a glare coming from the kitchen window, but this picture was his great-grandmother's, and then his grandmother inherited it, and then she gave it to his mom, and his mom gave it to him. It's a sketch, very unique, bought in 1940, and with notes on it, how much was paid for and who it was passed on from person to person. So just a view, another view from a couple different directions and different lights. You'll note we do not have a microwave. We haven't had a microwave in, I bet, for 20 years. No coffee pot. It's our preference. It makes our lives interesting to live this way. We know that a lot of people wouldn't like that, and that's, fine. We wouldn't like to live any other way, though, honestly. there's a uniqueness and a closeness that comes to our family from this. It's kind of our niche and something we feel is a blessing to us. So we try to refine it in any way we can to make that be as profitable. And I don't mean financially, I mean profitable in uniting our goal, our circumstances. You know, it's a bonding point for us. But thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We have been so blessed. We've had 500 subscribers and almost over 80,000 views on our channel, and it's just wonderful that people want to tune in. Most of the comments that have been left are just enormously encouraging and a blessing. There have been a few that, you know, well, but I guess it's to be expected. You know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So, but we just thank you, and the Lord bless.